NFL free agency is fast approaching, meaning we'll know a lot more about the Jets roster, outlook and playoff chances in just a week or so than we do right now. But before the big, overarching conclusions can be drawn and the 2019 look-aheads can begin, the Jets and general manager Mike Maccagnan have a whole lot of questions facing them in the coming days. Here's a look at some of the pressing issues facing the Jets as free agency fires up. NFL free agents 2019, can Jets Sam Darnold actually trust Mike Maccagnan to put talent around him? New York Jets general manager Mike Maccagnan has a less than stellar record with big money contracts. Do high-profile free agents really want to play for Jets? Sure, the Jets have about $100 million in cap space, so they can afford to go after a couple of big-name stars, if that's what Maccagnan is interested in. But whether or not bona fide NFL studs would be interested in the Jets is another question. Perhaps some players will blindly follow the highest offer, but others may be more inclined to try to join a team with upside and winning potential. It's up to Maccagnan to sell his vision for the Jets and convince players that they should want to be a part of it. Will Maccagnan overpay for a splashy star or two? This is related to the question above, obviously. If Maccagnan can't sell Le'Veon Bell or another star on joining the Jets on vision alone, is he willing to go above and beyond the offers from the rest of the league and make it almost impossible for him to say no? And if Maccagnan overpays to land a few cornerstone pieces, how much will it affect the rest of the Jets roster construction? Can Maccagnan find effective, budget-friendly depth pieces? This is just as important, if not more important, than whether or not the Jets can land some of the top-tier talents around the league. One of the Jets' biggest problems in recent years has been a lack of depth in crucial spots. This is the NFL, injuries are inevitable. Having legitimate, serviceable backups that can step in and win games is vital. The Jets need to add depth at wide receiver, on the offensive line and in the pass rush, so that they can maintain a decent level of play when issues invariably pop up during the season. Will Sam Darnold be surrounded by enough weapons to succeed? As we just mentioned, the Jets need depth at wide receiver. But they could also use a one target for Darnold, plus upgrades at running back, plus upgrades on the offensive line. Obviously, addressing all of those issues in one off-season is a huge ask and probably isn't possible. But can Maccagnan at least add enough talent to bring out the best in Darnold during year 2? Sure, he improved over the course of his rookie season, but having legitimate talent around him is crucial to his development and success in the coming years. Maccagnan has to make some smart decisions and start building the long-term structure around Darnold this season. Can the Jets finally fix their woeful pass rush? The Jets finished 23rd in sack percentage in 2018. They were 28th in 2017. They haven't ranked among the top half of the league in that category since 2014, when they finished 4th. Since then, their best ranking was 17th in 2015. In other words, the pass rush has been dreadful during Maccagnan's 4 years with the Jets. Now they have the money to add players like Trey Flowers, Dante Fowler, Justin Houston or some of the others on the free agent market. Will Maccagnan actually pull off the moves to bring this pass rush back to respectability and help out his defensive backs? What is Maccagnan's plan at cornerback? Speaking of defensive backs, the Jets have a potential hole at corner, depending on whether or not they opt to re-sign Morris Claiborne and Buster Skrine. Could Maccagnan find better options on the market? Probably. But bailing on those two incumbents just makes for more work in the roster reshaping process, and Maccagnan already has a ton on the to-do list. It will be interesting to see if he tries to find upgrades at cornerback or kicks the can down the road, bringing Claiborne and Skrine back on short-term deals in order to put more focus on the other spots. How will the Jets build legitimate offensive line depth? Most of the focus on the Jets' offensive line rebuild is on the left guard and center spots, and rightfully so, those are the two open starting positions. But Jonathan Harrison, Dakota Dozier, Brent Cavalli and Ben Ijalana are all free agents, too, meaning most of the Jets' backups could be walking away. Will Maccagnan fight to keep some of those players? If so, which ones? Who will he target as replacements for those that walk, younger guys with potential or experienced veterans? Those choices will almost certainly be critical as the 17-week war of attrition moves along next season. Can the Jets sign a RB fast enough to avoid Isaiah Crowell's guaranteed money? It's basically a lock at this point that the Jets will sign a running back. We just don't know if it will be Bell, Coleman or another option. But just as important is how quickly the Jets manage to lock up their men. Crowell has $2 million in guaranteed money heading his way if he's still on the roster on the third day of the league year, which is March 17. So can Maccagnan sign someone quickly enough that he's able to cut Crowell and avoid that hit? It's not a huge sum of money, but every bit helps. Is Chris Herndon enough, or do the Jets still need more help at Tay? Adam Gase made it very, very clear during the NFL Combine that he loves what Herndon provides in all facets of the game. So the Jets have their number one tight end spot locked up. That's the bright side. But beyond that, the Jets don't have much. Jordan Leggett has been underwhelming over the past few seasons. The Jets liked Neil Sterling last year, but he couldn't stay on the field due to 2 concussions. Now they've let Clive Walford and Eric Tomlinson walk. Odds are, that means the Jets will, at the very least, have to find a replacement blocking tight end to help fill Tomlinson's niche role. Keep an eye on how Maccagnan opts to flesh out this position. He could try to find someone in free agency or look to spend a late-round pick on some added depth here. Will the Jets keep their successful special teams unit intact? Special teams coordinator Brent Boyer was retained after turning the Jets unit into the league's best last season. The fact that they were satisfied with the status quo on the coaching staff seems like a hint that they want to repeat 2018's magic in 2019. If so, they'll need to re-sign return man Andre Roberts and kicker Jason Myers. But there's always the chance that someone else outbids the Jets and makes them scramble to find other options. Keeping last year's dream team intact is probably the smart formula, though. Will the Jets finally be interesting again in 2019? This is the $100 million question. Right now, the Jets are just plain bland. Their lack of star power is overwhelming. This team is headlined by safety Jamal Adams, who is genuinely interesting, but plays a relatively low-impact defensive position, and a vanilla surfer dude in Darnold. Beyond that, this team doesn't have much in the way of personality. Sure, the Giants may stink, but at least they've had a fascinating mix of stars with Eli Manning, Odell Beckham Jr., Landon Collins, Saquon Barkley, etc. Constantly stirring up storylines and interest. The Jets have lacked that gravitas for a while now. But this offseason is giving them a chance to add some oomph to the roster in terms of pure entertainment value, which would be a nice change of pace. That said, building a winning football team would be a far more important change of pace. Characters be damned. Matt Stypulkowski may be reached at mstypulkowski@advancemedia.com. Follow him on Twitter at m_Stypulkowski. Find NJ.com Jets on Facebook.